The first thing I saw through the crack in my husband's iPhone 17 was not another woman's name. That would have been almost generous. Simple, even. A normal betrayal. Lipstick on the collar stuff. Sad playlist, divorce lawyer, maybe one dramatic glass of wine. No. The message glowing under the shattered glass said, "Did she sign the policy yet?" I was standing barefoot in our garage at 6:18 on a Monday morning, holding Ethan's phone like it had just hissed at me. Outside, Denver was doing that early spring thing where the sun looked polite, but the air still wanted to fight you. The garage smelled like cold concrete, cardboard boxes, and the bag of potting soil Ethan had bought last summer and then abandoned, because apparently even Basil deserved disappointment. His phone had slipped from his jacket pocket when he got out of the car. I heard it hit the floor. Hard. He swore. Not normal swore. Not, "I stepped on a Lego" swore. Panicked swore. I walked in from the laundry room and saw him crouched beside the driver's door, staring at the iPhone like it contained state secrets or a small, angry ghost. "Did it break?" I asked. He snatched it up too fast. "Just the screen." "Want me to look?" "No." That no came out sharp. I blinked. We had been married 9 years. I had seen Ethan with food poisoning, a flat tire, and one Christmas when his mother said my green bean casserole was confident. He never sounded like that. He turned the phone face down. "I'll handle it." Then his work bag slid off his shoulder, paper spilled, his coffee tipped over, and for 5 seconds he had too many disasters to guard. The phone lit up again on the floor. Cracked glass. White notification. Did she sign the policy yet? I picked it up. Not because I was snooping, because I was stupidly still a wife who picked up dropped things. Another message appeared, half hidden under a black lightning-shaped crack. "Once the house is refinanced, she can't touch it." My thumb went numb. Ethan froze. The garage got very quiet. Even the refrigerator in the corner stopped humming, which felt rude, like it wanted better audio. "Laura," he said. Soft now. Too soft. "Give me the phone." I looked at the screen, then at my husband. His face had gone pale in a way I had never seen before. Not guilty pale. Worse, caught pale. I laughed once. Tiny. Wrong. "Who's asking about my signature?" He swallowed. "Nobody." The phone buzzed again in my hand. Madison Reed. "Don't let her read the fine print." I looked up at him. And that was the exact moment I understood the screen wasn't the only thing in our house that had cracked. 3 weeks before the phone cracked, Ethan had started acting like a man who had discovered paperwork as foreplay. He brought documents to dinner. Not flowers. Not takeout. Not even those sad grocery store cookies I liked with the pink frosting and the nutritional value of a scented candle. Documents. "Just some updates," he said, sliding a folder across the kitchen table. I was eating leftover chicken over the sink because I had gotten home late from the clinic and had apparently become a raccoon with a mortgage. "What kind of updates?" "Insurance. House stuff. Nothing dramatic." Nothing dramatic is a phrase men use right before handing you drama in a folder. Ethan worked in high-end insurance, which meant he could make terrifying financial language sound like a spa treatment. Premiums, beneficiaries, liability, coverage. He said them all in that calm voice clients probably found comforting. I found it suspiciously polished. But I trusted him. That's the ugly part. Trust never looks stupid while you're inside it. It looks efficient. Loving. Adult. Like, of course my husband understands this better than I do. Of course he's handling it. Of course I can sign after work because my brain is full of patient schedules, supply orders, and a physical therapist named Brad who kept labeling everything urgent because he liked the font. I managed operations for a sports physical therapy clinic in Cherry Creek. My days were spent keeping athletes, invoices, and grown men with hamstring injuries from becoming everyone else's problem. By the time I got home, reading tiny legal print felt like punishment. Still, I had one rule. I read before I signed. Not because I was brilliant, because in 2018 I bought a vacuum cleaner with a free lifetime warranty that turned out to cover only the handle and emotional regret. So when Ethan put a pen beside the folder, I didn't touch it. "I'll read it tonight," he smiled. "A second too late." "Sure." "You look annoyed." "I'm not annoyed." "You blinked like a printer jam." He laughed. "I just thought we could knock it out." Romantic. Should I light a candle or notarize my feelings? He leaned over and kissed my forehead. "Laura, it's routine." That word again. Routine. He used it for everything he wanted me to stop questioning. Routine policy update. Routine refinance conversation. Routine meeting with Calvin. Routine late dinner with colleagues. A week later, he asked again. Did you sign those forms? Not yet. Babe. I know. I'm slow. Very tragic. Put it in my obituary. He didn't laugh that time. He just looked at the folder on the counter like it was a train he needed me to board before I noticed the tracks ended. I should have noticed then. Maybe I did. Maybe noticing and admitting are two different rooms, and I stood in the hallway too long. My cousin June fixed phones for a living, which made her the family priest for modern sins. People walked into her repair shop in Cherry Creek with cracked screens, dead batteries, and expressions that said there might be more damage inside the device than outside it. June had seen everything. Phones dropped in toilets, phones run over by bikes, phones thrown by girlfriends, phones thrown by boyfriends, who then blamed gravity issues. Because apparently gravity is dating now. So when I walked into her shop holding Ethan's cracked iPhone 17 in a plastic sandwich bag, she did not look surprised. She looked entertained. Evidence or repair? She asked. Both, maybe. She took the bag, peered inside, and whistled. Oof, that screen didn't crack. It filed for separation. I leaned against the counter. The shop smelled like warm plastic, coffee, and tiny screws. June wore purple glasses on top of her head and had a tattoo of a lightning bolt behind one ear. She was the kind of woman who could replace a phone battery while insulting your life choices with love. Ethan says he doesn't want it fixed, I said. June looked up. Then why do you have it? Because he left it on the kitchen counter after yelling at me not to touch it, then went to shower, then forgot he married someone with hands. Classic male oversight. He said he'll just get a new one. June turned the phone over. That's suspicious. Rich people do that all the time. You're not rich. You have a Costco couch and emotional candles from Target. There. She connected the phone to a diagnostic cable. The broken screen flickered, slicing Ethan's lock screen into bright little pieces. His Face ID wouldn't work because apparently even technology needed space from him. Do you know the passcode? I stared. Yes. June raised one eyebrow. Marriage, the world's least secure password manager. I hesitated. That small pause mattered. A better version of me would have stopped. A cleaner version. The kind of woman people pretend to be when giving advice online. But I had seen the messages. Did she sign the policy yet? Once the house is refinanced, she can't touch it. Don't let her read the fine print. This was not curiosity. This was self-defense with a charging cable. I entered the passcode. The phone opened. For half a second, nothing happened. Then notifications stacked across the broken screen like little white coffins. Madison Reed. Calvin Price. Madison again. June's humor faded. Well, she said quietly, that's not a cracked screen problem. A missed call showed from Calvin. A message preview under it. Clean up your personal assets before you make a move. My mouth went dry. June reached over and locked the front door of the shop. Okay, she said. Nobody buys a new phone that fast unless the old one knows too much. I drove home from June's shop with Ethan's phone in my purse and the radio off. Denver traffic moved like everyone had collectively agreed to be annoying for charity. At a red light near Colorado Boulevard, I looked at the mountains in the distance. They were blue-gray and calm, very rude of them. I wanted the world to look appropriately cracked. Maybe one dramatic thunderclap. A bird flying into a billboard. Something. Instead, a guy in a Subaru beside me was eating yogurt with a fork. Life is deeply unserious at the worst times. I kept thinking about Calvin's message. Clean up your personal assets before you make a move. Not talk to your wife. Not be honest. Assets. I was an asset problem. 9 years of marriage, and I had been reduced to a line item with hair. When I got home, Ethan's car was gone. He had texted, emergency meeting. Back late. Emergency, sure. The man had more emergencies than a discount airline. I walked through our house slowly, like it belonged to strangers. The gray sofa we argued about for 40 minutes. The kitchen island, where he left orange peels in a little pile like a raccoon consultant. The framed photo from our honeymoon in Santa Fe, where he had sunburned only one ear, and I laughed so hard I cried. I hated that memory for still being sweet. That is one of betrayal's nastier tricks. It doesn't erase the good moments. It poisons them retroactively and then expects you to sort the evidence. I opened the drawer where Ethan kept mail. Bank letters. Insurance packets. A refinance estimate from Alpine Peak Lending. My name was on the envelope too. I did not remember seeing it. Behind it was a glossy brochure about wealth protection strategies. The smiling couple on the front looked like they had never fought over a dishwasher smell. Good for them. Fictional idiots. I took photos of everything. My hands were steadier now. That scared me less than the shaking had. Then I noticed the suitcase in the hall closet. New, black. Tag still on. Ethan had said he needed it for a conference in Aspen next month. Inside, under tissue paper, was a folded women's sweater. Cream-colored. Not mine. Too small. Too expensive. Too much like someone who said seasonal palette without shame. I sat back on my heels. For some reason I whispered, "Oh, Ethan." Not angry. Not dramatic. Just tired. Then my phone buzzed. June. Found something in cached notifications. You need to come back tomorrow. I stared at the message. Then Ethan's phone buzzed inside my purse. Madison again. Tell me she signed tonight. I'm tired of waiting. I looked at the cream sweater. Then at the refinance papers. Then at the suitcase. And for the first time I understood Madison wasn't waiting for my husband. She was waiting for my life to be cleared out. June had coffee waiting when I arrived the next morning. That was how I knew it was bad. June normally believed coffee should be earned through suffering and a debit card. She handed me a paper cup and said, "Drink before I show you." I hate that sentence. You should. We sat in the back room of the repair shop between shelves of phone screens and tiny labeled drawers. June had Ethan's iPhone connected to her laptop. The cracked display glowed beside it, looking smug for something that needed surgery. "I didn't hack anything," she said. "June. I'm saying that for legal and emotional reasons." The phone was unlocked. Notifications were cached, some attachments synced. Technology is messy. Men are messier. She turned the laptop toward me. Screenshots, partial messages, some broken by missing words, some perfectly clear. "Madison, when are you telling her?" "After the refinance." "Calvin, get the paperwork done first. Divorce after that is cleaner." My coffee suddenly tasted like wet cardboard. June watched me. I kept reading. "Madison, what if she asks questions? Ethan, she trusts me. That's the only easy part. There are sentences that stab. Then there are sentences that sit down inside you and unpack. She trusts me. That's the only easy part." I put the cup down carefully because I did not trust my hand not to throw it. June said, "Breathe." "I am." "You're doing decorative breathing. Try functional." I laughed. It came out wrong. A cracked little sound. Matching the phone. Very on theme. There were more messages. Calvin advising Ethan to move certain accounts. Madison asking if the condo deposit went through. Condo. A condo near Union Station. Paid from what looked like a transfer from our joint savings. Our joint savings. The account we used for house repairs, medical expenses, and vacations we never took because Ethan kept saying, "Next year will be better." Apparently next year had hardwood floors and Madison. I leaned back in the chair. My legs felt far away. June reached across the table and squeezed my wrist. "Laura." "I'm okay." "No, you're not, but you're also not stupid. That's important." I looked at the messages again. The policy. The refinance. The condo. This was not a man who had fallen in love accidentally. This was logistics, calendars, transfers. A breakup wearing a spreadsheet. "Can you send me everything?" "Yes, and you need a lawyer." "I need a baseball bat." "You need both, but start with the lawyer. Less jail." I nodded. Then I picked up Ethan's cracked phone and looked at the black line running across the screen. For the first time I felt grateful to it. Ugly little hero. I did not confront Ethan that night. That surprised me. It disappointed me a little too. There's a version of me that wanted to slap the folder onto the table and say something sharp enough to make the windows sweat. Instead, I made salmon. Badly. I overcooked it until it had the emotional texture of a flip-flop. Ethan ate 3 bites and said, "This is good." Liar in all departments, apparently. I watched him across the table. Same face, same hands, same tiny scar on his chin from falling off a bike at 12. I knew that scar. I had touched it in bed once and asked about it. He told me the story with sound effects. Now those hands were cutting dry salmon while planning to cut me out of our house. Human beings are awful at matching faces to facts. He slid a folder toward me after dinner. "There are a few things I need you to sign." There it was. Casual, like offering dessert, except the dessert was financial erosion. I wiped my mouth with a napkin. Tonight? If you can. It's time sensitive. What happens if I wait? He smiled. That late smile again. The printer jammed blink. Nothing. It just slows things down. What things? Laura. He said my name like I was making life difficult by existing with questions. I tilted my head. Is this the policy? Yes. And the refinance? Just preliminary. Preliminary documents don't usually need signatures. His eyes tightened. Since when are you an expert? Since I learned how to read. Not my warmest marriage moment. He laughed, but there was no air in it. I'm trying to protect us. Us. I almost admired the word choice. So tiny, so flexible. You could hide a corpse under us if you folded it right. I want to read everything, I said. You don't need to read the fine print. My fork, there it was. Almost exact. Madison's message came back in my head. Don't let her read the fine print. I looked down, so he wouldn't see my face. A crumb of salmon sat near my plate. I moved it with my finger. Pointless. Tiny. Necessary. I'm tired, I said. I'll look tomorrow. Ethan sat back. For 1 second, irritation flashed through him. Then he covered it. Sure. Later, while he showered, I photographed every page and sent them to Andrea Park, the attorney June had recommended. Andrea replied at 11:43 p.m. Do not sign anything. Call me at 8. Then a second message. Especially not page 14. I stared at the screen. Page 14. Of course, even Betrayal had homework. Andrea Park's office did not have inspirational wall art. No live, laugh, love. No mountain sunrise. No framed quote about courage. Just shelves, files, one healthy snake plant, and a woman in red glasses who looked like she had personally frightened several dishonest husbands into better posture. She read page 14 first. That told me enough. I sat across from her with June beside me, because June had insisted on coming and had brought a protein bar for legal stamina. It tasted like compressed carpet, but I ate half anyway. Andrea tapped the page. This clause weakens your claim to the house if the refinance goes through under the proposed structure. My stomach tightened. It still has my name on it. Yes, but this changes the debt arrangement and could complicate equity division. Not impossible to fight, just expensive and ugly. Ethan said it was routine. Andrea looked at me over her glasses. Men call many things routine when they hope women are tired. I liked her immediately. She moved to the insurance papers. This policy change is also concerning. He is altering beneficiaries and adding language that benefits him more than you if the marriage dissolves, June muttered. Romantic. Andrea continued. And these transfers from your joint savings? The condo deposit? I closed my eyes. I didn't authorize that. Good. Then we document it. Good. Such a strange word in a room where your marriage is being dissected. Andrea asked if Ethan knew I had his messages. No. Keep it that way for now. I nodded. Am I allowed to hate him loudly? In your car. June raised a finger. Can I join? Encouraged, Andrea said. For the first time in 2 days, I smiled. Tiny. Not happy. More like my face was checking if the muscles still worked. Andrea gave me a plan. No signing. Separate copies of financial records. Freeze large withdrawals if possible. Request confirmation from the lender. Preserve the phone data. Do not confront without a witness. Ethan is not just having an affair, she said. He is preparing an exit while trying to leave you in a weaker position. There it was, plain. No poetry, no soft edges. I thought it would destroy me to hear it said clearly. It didn't. It steadied me. A thing named is a thing you can point at. As we left, June put on sunglasses even though the lobby was indoors. What are you doing? Preparing for battle. You look like a divorced raccoon. Good. Raccoons survive. I laughed. Then my phone buzzed. Ethan. Dinner tonight? We need to finish those forms. I typed back. Sure, let's finish everything. Then I deleted the smiley face before sending. I was angry, not deranged. I set the table like a woman hosting a normal dinner. Plates, napkins, water glasses. A small bowl of olives because Ethan liked olives, and I wanted to see if Betrayal still had preferences. It did. He came home at 7:12 wearing the navy coat I had bought him 2 winters ago. He kissed my cheek. I let him. That part makes me cringe now. But at the time I needed him comfortable. Comfortable people talk. Comfortable people make mistakes. Comfortable men think dinner means victory when there are documents on the table. You look nice, he said. I was wearing jeans and an old black sweater with a bleach spot near the sleeve. Thanks, very Paris, very laundry accident. He laughed, too relieved. After we ate, he brought the folder over. I appreciate you being reasonable about this. Reasonable. Women are always praised for being reasonable right before someone asks them to swallow glass politely. I opened the folder. Page 14 waited there, smug and tiny printed. I have a few questions. His fork paused. Okay, what does this clause mean? I pointed. He glanced at it. It's standard. You say that a lot, because it is. And the beneficiary change? His jaw shifted. That's temporary. Temporary for who? Laura. No, don't name-tone me, answer. He sighed. There it was, the tired husband act. Very moving. Extremely budget theater. You're overthinking. I've been underthinking for years. I'm trying variety. He pushed his chair back slightly. What is going on? I reached under the folder and pulled out the first printed message. Did she sign the policy yet? His face changed. Not enough for a stranger to notice. Enough for a wife. I placed the second one down. Once the house is refinanced, she can't touch it. Then Madison's. Don't let her read the fine print. He stared at the papers. The room got quiet except for the refrigerator making a clicking noise it had made for months. I had asked Ethan to fix it. He said he'd get to it. Funny, he had time for condo deposits. Where did you get these? He asked. I almost laughed. That's not true. I can explain. Where did you get these? The anthem of the guilty with bad priorities. Your phone broke, I said. Apparently so did your plan. His eyes lifted to mine. Laura, listen. No. He blinked. No. You've been talking. To Madison, to Calvin, to lenders, to yourself probably. My turn. I slid the final printout across the table. She trusts me. That's the only easy part. He looked at it, and finally, beautifully, he had nothing to say. Ethan tried sadness first. I had expected anger, denial. Maybe some financial jargon tossed like smoke bombs, but no. He lowered his eyes and went quiet, as if he had been wounded by the discovery of his own behavior. Bold choice. I felt trapped, he said. I stared at him. You felt trapped in a house you were trying to refinance behind my back? He rubbed his forehead. Our marriage hasn't been good. Our marriage had boring parts. That is not a crime scene. You stopped listening to me. I listened to you explain umbrella coverage for 45 minutes at a barbecue. June, on speaker from my phone, whispered. I remember that. Hostage situation. Ethan looked at the phone. Is June listening? Yes. Why? Because witnesses prevent gaslighting. Also, she enjoys suffering with commentary. He stood. This is humiliating. I looked at the printed messages spread across our dining table. It should be. His face hardened. There. Finally. The sadness costume slipped. You went through my phone. Your phone lit up with messages about my signature and my house. I didn't go through your diary, Ethan. I followed the smoke. You don't understand the finances. I sat back. That one landed exactly where he meant it to. For years, Ethan had been the money person. I handled schedules, doctors, repairs, groceries, his mother's birthday gifts, the dog we didn't even have anymore, but somehow I still got vet reminder emails for. He handled investments and policy language and all the grown-up words that sound boring until they become knives. I breathed. Then I said, I understand theft. His mouth opened. I understand deception. I understand joint savings. I understand my name on a mortgage, and I understand literacy, which seems to be the part that surprised you. Jean whispered, put that on a mug. He sat down again. I wasn't going to leave you with nothing. How generous? A betrayal with a gift bag. Madison called then. His phone, the spare one, buzzed on the counter. We both looked. Her name lit up. Madison Reed. Ethan did not move, so I answered, not mature, very satisfying. Hi, Madison. Silence. Then, Laura? Yes, the wife. Still literate. Still on the mortgage. Ethan said, stop. I held up a hand. Madison breathed shakily. He told me you were separating. Did he tell you the condo deposit came from our joint savings? Another silence. That one felt different. Less guilty. More surprised. Good. Let the room expand. Let everybody see the furniture. I hung up. Ethan whispered, you're destroying me. I looked at him for a long second. No, I said. I'm reading what you wrote. Andrea moved faster than I thought lawyers could move. I had assumed law worked like printers and insurance portals, slowly with threats of passwords. But Andrea sent letters that made bankers suddenly develop manners. The refinance paused. The lender requested clarification. The insurance changes froze. Our joint account got flagged for review, and Ethan learned that temporary transfers sound less charming when written in formal language. Calvin Price was pulled into an internal investigation at Ethan's firm after Andrea requested records related to client-facing policy practices and Ethan's side communications. I did not understand all of it. I understood enough. Men who build traps hate paperwork when it faces the other direction. Madison disappeared from the condo plan within a week. She emailed me once. I didn't know about the money. I'm sorry. I believed half of that. Maybe more. Maybe less. I had stopped grading other women's apologies. It was unpaid labor, and I was tired. Ethan moved into a furnished apartment near the highway, with beige walls and the personality of a waiting room. He tried to call it temporary. I said, "So was your honesty." Not kind, accurate. The divorce took months. Ugly months. Expensive months. Months where I learned that healing and legal billing both arrive in small, painful increments. But I kept the house long enough to sell it fairly. I recovered my share. The condo deposit was accounted for. Ethan's firm did not fire him immediately, which annoyed June deeply because she preferred clean television justice. But he lost clients. Calvin resigned. Ethan's shiny professional image cracked in a way no screen protector could fix. I moved into a smaller apartment near Sloan's Lake with one bedroom, one ridiculous view of the mountains, and a kitchen drawer that stuck unless you hip-checked it. I loved that drawer. It was honest about being difficult. On my first morning there, I made coffee and burned the toast. Smoke alarms screamed. I stood on a chair waving a dish towel like a surrender flag while June laughed so hard she had to sit on the floor. "This is freedom?" I asked. "This is freedom with carbohydrates," she said. Later, I found the cracked screen protector from Ethan's iPhone in my purse. I must have taken it from June's shop without thinking. A jagged line ran across it. Ugly. Useful. I slid it into an envelope and wrote one word on the front. Proof. Not of Ethan. Of me. Proof that I had seen the crack, looked closer, and believed myself before he could teach me not to. 6 months later, I bought myself a new phone. Nothing dramatic, no symbolism intended, which of course meant the universe immediately dragged symbolism into it by the ankles. June installed the screen protector for me at her shop. "For emotional and technical protection," she said. "Does it cover poor taste in men?" "Premium plan only." I laughed. A real one this time. Ethan still emailed occasionally. Long messages, polished sentences. Too polished. I could almost hear him rehearsing regret in a mirror. I didn't answer. Some apologies are not bridges, they are fishing lines. I kept the envelope with the cracked screen protector in a desk drawer at my new apartment, not because I missed him, not because I wanted to stay angry. Because sometimes I needed to remember the truth did not arrive like thunder. It arrived through a broken phone on a cold garage floor. A stupid little crack. A notification I was never supposed to see. One morning, I walked around Sloan's Lake with coffee in one hand and my new phone in the other. The mountains were clear. Annoyingly beautiful. Still calm, still rude. I checked my reflection in the black screen. Older, maybe. Less trusting in the cheap way. More trusting in myself. That felt like a fair trade.